Hello, thank you for stopping by. Today I'm going over this welder that I picked up just about 2 weeks ago. It's my first Tombstone welder. It's a little worse for wear. I've been looking for one of these for quite a while now. And this is an AC 225S, if you see that over there. Like I mentioned, I had my eye out for one of these for quite some time. And every time I found one within the price range I was looking for, it was gone. I mean, they go fast. The best one of these I've seen so far was one that looked almost new with a whole box of rods and a helmet, and they were giving it away for $150. This one, price was around the same price. I got a box of rods, but looks like they're like over 10 years old according to the box. But it's enough to get me started. I'm not a welder. This will be my first time using a stick welder, and this is pretty rough. My original intent was to use this along with my Harbor Freight generator, but the gentleman that sold it to me, he seemed pretty knowledgeable about this. He used to use this for fabricating. He also worked on small engines and riding mowers and zero-turn mowers. He doesn't do that any longer, and he's not using it. And when he moved into his new home, he didn't have any outlet for it, and he didn't have any intention of using it. So that's how I came about it. Now this looks like it's been neglected for some time. Doesn't look like it was left outside, but it's been sitting for a while. Now my first order of business is to clean this up. I want to get in here and make sure it's not full of dust or mice nest in there. I'm not quite sure what I'll find when I go in there. Never took one of these apart. Like I said, this is my first one. And I have to run an electrical outlet for this, because he was explaining to me how by using the generator, it may or may not work. It may blow the generator, it may blow this, may just, you know, he gave me a couple of scenarios that can happen. And I figured, oh, well, I may as well do it right. I wanted to use this outside. That was the whole idea of using the generator. Because most of the work I do is outside. But that's not going to be unless I get a long cord for it. So my panel box, fortunately for me, is right by the exit of my garage. So my intent is to run a line and put the outlet over here. And I just made it where I have a spot for the 50 amp breaker. That's it. If I had one more breaker in there, this wouldn't be happening. Now this isn't a how to install a circuit in the panel, although I'll go over a few things. And I advise, if you never did this before, you call an electrician and have an electrician come in and do it for you. I've installed breakers before, I did wiring before. I'm not an electrician. So if you see anything that's off when I do this, mention it in the comment down below if there's any corrections I have to make. But the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to kill the power coming into the house, so that means everything's going to be off. I'm going to get all the materials that I need before I start this, because the refrigerator, the freezer, everything's going to be off. Now you have to keep in mind, when you kill the power, all of these should be off, but you still have live, you'll see when I open this up, you'll still have live wires coming in. So it is going to be live on top, so you have to be careful not to touch any of this. That's why, if you never did this before, don't even attempt it. That said, I'm going to get all the material together, take this panel off, and get inside this box. So before I could use that welder, I have to install a 220 line. So I had to go out and get the cable for it. And what was recommended to me was the 6-2 wire. And you can see the 6-2 wire actually has 3 wires. There could be some confusion with that. And this was, I believe, 25 feet. It was the smallest amount I could get. I only need about 6 feet of it, but maybe some point I'll put a sub panel box in. If you want to get this online, probably get it a little cheaper, I have the link in the description down below. Then I had to get an outlet to plug the welder into. Got a couple of connectors, and I picked up this 50 amp breaker. Once I get this installed, I'll get back to you and see if that welder works. Okay, I have it hooked up. A couple of problems I ran into. When these main wires were put in, They were put in real close to this bottom leg, and I couldn't get this double circuit breaker in down here. So what I did, I just moved the other two down. Because this was smaller, has a thinner wire, it was easier to maneuver. This outlet back in here is a bad outlet. That burnt out, so that's not usable. I have it off right now. I'm gonna have somebody come and check it out for me. And one thing I want to mention, I was taught this years back, before you turn the main power back on, make sure all these breakers are off and turn them on one at a time. You have your water pump, you have your stove, your furnace, so on and so forth, or your air condition. Just turn them on gradually instead of having that shock go through. That's what I was taught years back. That's what I still do. And I have the wire coming along this way. I'm going to have a board against this wall and mount it that way. I left myself a little slack in this wire. I might be doing some work in this corner. I'm not sure. This corner might be coming out. But anyway, the way I have it, it's coming along. It's going down. I put this wooden plate over here to mount it to. Rather than mounting it into the block, I have it screwed into this 2x6 with a 2x4 behind it. This is off right now. This isn't going anywhere. This is secure. I have it in there. And this was about the easiest part to put together over here. These wires are thick. If you never worked with this before, and like I mentioned, if you're not sure how to do this, if you never did any wiring, don't attempt it. Call somebody in to have them do it for you. So the wiring's out of the way. Now, my next part of this project is that I'm going to take this apart. It looks like there's just a couple of bolts on the side. Wheels weird onto this, but I'm going to take these. I'm going to take this apart, clean it off inside, and then when I have this all cleaned out, I'm going to try to strike an arc with it and see what we can do with this welder. I hope it works. This is one of the few times I've bought something without checking it out. There was no way to check it, but the gentleman I got it from, he sounded pretty sincere about the whole thing, and he said he never had a problem with it. You could tell this was used. You can see that this was well used, but if you put it away working, it should still be working. Once I have this cleaned up, we'll plug it in and see how we make out. All right, now that the wiring's all taken care of, I want to take this apart to get inside of it to make sure the inside's clean and it's not all full of these cobwebs and I don't know what else might be in there. I'm going to take as few screws out as possible. I'm going to start with the edge. It looks like I might have to pop the wheel off to get this bottom one out. And I'll be taking this. Looks like this will have to come out. And one in here, the same on the other side. That should be able to give me access to the back, and we'll see what's inside of here. All right, took this back cover off. It came off easy enough. And this is what I found. We have a wiring diagram in here. Pretty dusty up in here. And down in here, not as bad as I thought it would be. But I'm gonna blow this all out. Then I'm gonna hit it with a vacuum and get as much of this off as I can. I get this out of here, not to get messed up into the fan. Like I said, it's not as bad as I thought it would be. But all right, so I'm gonna clean this out, put it back together, wipe down the outside a little bit, and see if this thing works. Well, this is the best I'm getting this today. Cleaned up pretty nice on the outside, although I do have a little bit of corrosion down here. It looks like it's starting to get some corrosion back down in here. For now, this is how it's going to stay. I have to see if this even works. This may have been all for naught. Biggest thing I wanted to do was get the dust out on the inside. But I found this, I didn't take the dust off because I'm not sure what this is for. I'm thinking it might be some kind of like a heat sink. I'm not sure, but they're bent all different ways, and I didn't bend it. You can see how the dust is still on it from before. This was all full of dust. Down here, it was worse than I thought it would have been. Underneath, it was like all clumps of spider webs. I cleaned out in there the best I could. This fan was full of dirt. I cleaned this up. Cleaned up in here. Big thing was I just wanted to get the dust out. So oh, one other thing. I'm not sure what was on this back cover. This was raised up. I'm not sure if it was close to a weld and it just splattered over. I scraped it a little bit and then I just used a screen to bring it down. And if I scrape any more, it's going to take the paint off. I'm not quite sure what this is, but it's going to stay like that for now. And there's some of it on the inside over here also. I don't know if the camera's picking it up. The sun's on the other side of the house and I'm in the shade right now. It's getting dark. But anyway, that's it for now. I'm going to put this together and we'll see if it works. Okay, I got this all put together. And the rods that I got with this welder, it looks like it's reading 6013. That's 6013. And I didn't try to weld anything together. I don't have any thick metal, but I have this rusty pipe. I put the clamp on. I didn't clean any of the rust off, and it does work. Now, this is no stack of dimes over here or anything like that. It's still a little warm. I just wanted to make sure that this did work. Over here I started going and it stuck on me. I have never used a stick welder before, so it's going to take a lot of practice, but I just want to make sure this welder did work. Got this mess over here. I was able to strike it and get it going, but I have to learn some procedure to get a weld done. You can see that I started okay over here, and then I did something wrong on this end. And over here, let's see. This was done first, then I went to this side over here. So, slight improvement. You can tell by these welds that I didn't even start to learn how to use this yet. But for now, that's a wrap. If you enjoyed this video or found it useful, give it a like. Pass it on to someone else who may enjoy it. And if you haven't done so already, subscribe. And be sure to hit that notification bell to get my videos as I upload them. Well, until next time, stay safe.